This episode of Playing on a Budget is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 source of games and gaming accessories, and by GatheringMagic.com, the #1 source of Magic the Gathering news and articles. Hi there, this is Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with another episode of Playing on a Budget. I am back at Standard again, and by popular request, I'm going to do a Zombies build. Last week I talked about how all the zombie prices had gone down. That's why we probably see a lot more zombie decks on MTGO, as the Gravecrawlers, this guy here, and the Messengers, this guy here, are a lot more affordable than they have been throughout their life in Standard thus far. As we know, Innistrad and Dark Ascension will be rotating, as well as Avacyn and M13 in October, so a lot of the vendors are already starting to dump as many of these cards as possible to avoid. Each year it's early and earlier the vendors start to dump the cards that are rotating in hope to I'd say after rotation, cards that are only standard playable lose about 75% of their value. The only way that they're going to retain any sort of value is through casual appeal, or if they are in any formats like Modern or Legacy or Vintage or in EDH. So those are or Commander. I guess that they want us to start calling it Commander. Anyway, so all the cards that we see that have been pretty staple in the Standard format that aren't quite Legacy or Modern playable and aren't very popular on the kitchen table Magic or the casual scene, they lose a ton of their value. And I think Messenger and both Gravecrawler are safe. I know Gravecrawler is very safe because it is a very casual friendly card. Plus it's a strong, powerful card in decks like Bridge from Below and Modern, and you see it pop up every once in a while in some of these more rogue decks in Legacy and Modern. And same with Messenger. You'll see Messenger in Modern every now and again. But it's been a very powerful card in Standard for quite a while. We saw black-red zombies dominate the format at the beginning of Innistrad and Return to Ravnica. It's fallen out of favor now for more aggressive red-green decks, but black-red zombies is still a very good deck. And yeah, so the Messenger has been dominating as well as the Gravecrawler for format for quite a while, and it's stayed around $10 most of its life, but now it's down to, I believe, $4, so the vendors are really starting to dump this guy as they think that its price is not going to hold, and I agree with them there. I don't think the Messenger's price was going to hold $10 post-rotation. So if you've been wanting to build a zombie deck, but the price tag has been too high for you, this is a good time to pick up these cards and give them one last run in Standard. There's still a long time. We have to till October, and that's what it's very interesting. Like I said, every year the vendors keep dumping the cards earlier and earlier. Last rotation, it was about when M13 was released that the vendors started dumping a lot of the staple Standard cards that were rotating. And now this year, man, they started dumping it at the beginning of Dragon's Maze. So you still have a lot of life in these Gravecrawlers and Messengers. You have all of June, July, August, September, and part of October before these guys are officially rotated. So it's a good 4 months. Or more, I guess you should say, June, July, August, September. Yeah, a little 4.5 months of these guys. So I suggest picking them up, playing the Zombies deck if you always wanted to. They're very fun decks. This is a UB build. I might try a green-black build later on. A blue-black build is what I've always wanted to make work with this Diregraf Captain. And this was a very popular deck back in when Innistrad and Scars of Mirrodin was legal. At the end, right before Delver became very oppressive, you did see these black-blue zombies lists that ran like phantasmal images as the other 2-drop to kind of copy these Messengers. But I still think it's a very powerful deck, so let's just go down the card list and the prices to these lists. So right off the bat, we'll go off the 1-drops. I'm using the Thrull Parasite as a 1-of. It's kind of a card that I'm testing. I kind of wanted 9 1-drops instead of 8, as I can guarantee we at least have 1 1-drop each opening hand. And the Thrull Parasite actually has some synergy with the Butcher Ghoul and the Messenger, as you can remove their Undying counters and have another swing, have another go, especially the Messenger. You remove the Undying counter and then it can die again and come back as a 4/3 and do 2 damage one more time. So Thrull Parasite's just an uncommon, so it's not going to cost you much. The Gravecrawlers are the most expensive card in the deck next to the Watery Graves. The Gravecrawlers are going for $7. All these prices are brought to you again by Cool Stuff Inc. They are the official vendor of Playing on a Budget and Gathering Magic, so if you like this series, please, please, please go check them out. Cool Stuff Inc. is a great site. Anyway, we'll go back to the prices. Gravecrawler is $7 right now. Quite a bargain. If there is a card that is going to hold its value in the casual / modern / legacy appeal, I definitely suggest the Gravecrawler. Very fun card. Works great in this deck as there are plenty of zombies that this guy can come back after he's in the graveyard. So for Gravecrawlers, it's a no-brainer. The Diregraf Ghoul is our other 1-drop, and these are very, very cheap. They're just bulk uncommons. Then we'll go on to our 2-slot. The 2-slot, I have one of Skirsdag High Priest. It's very good. It's a good card with the synergy with the Bloodthrone Vampire. I might actually go up more copies. I'm just trying to one of Bloodthrone Vampire as a sack outlet because we also have this Rapid Hybridization as a sack outlet and 2 more in the sideboard. And to trigger off the Skirsdag High Priest. What's really cool about Rapid Hybridization is you can actually destroy your own creature and put in a frog token, and then you'll still have something to tap to activate this Skirsdag High Priest. So you can definitely mess around with the numbers of Skirsdag High Priest and Bloodthrone Vampires and Rapid Hybridizations, but for now I'm just using 2 Rapid Hybridizations, Skirsdag High Priest, and a singleton Bloodthrone Vampire. Butcher Ghouls are another one I'm kind of trying out with. I think it has great synergy with the Rapid Hybridization and Bloodthrone Vampire, and with the Diregraf Captains, which I'll get to. And then we have one of my favorite cards ever printed. I make a lot of decks with Blood Artists. As if you've watched my channel, you know that I love this card. It's great against aggro. It's great against control. Works very well in this deck. It's not a zombie, but it's an honorary zombie as a vampire. Close enough, right? They're both undead. So anytime a creature dies, the opponent lose 1 life, you gain 1 life. It makes those aggro matchups really swing in your favor. Every time this Gravecrawler goes to the graveyard, you get a life and they lose a life. Pretty good synergy. And it works very well like if you have your sack outlet and your Bloodthrone Vampire, it becomes a 1 mana. You have to have another zombie out as well, but it becomes a 1 mana, do 1 life, or do 1 damage, gain 1 life, basically. So, yeah. Then we got Sign in Blood. After testing this deck, I felt like it needed some sort of card draw. You could go like Think Twice if you didn't want Sign in Blood. I like Sign in Blood because you never know when you have to use this as a finisher as well. And every land in your deck taps as a black, so it won't be hard to cast the Sign in Blood. And that card advantage is crucial in this matchup. Let's go on to our 3 drops, our bombs out of the deck. The Messengers, I'm running 4 Messengers and 4 Diregraf Captains. I really like the Messengers. One of the better cards for a mono black, one of the best mono black, triple black cards ever printed. A 3/2 for 3 is awesome. That does 2 damage right off the bat. It's almost like it has haste. And then it becomes a 4/3 and does another 2 damage after it dies. So a lot of times you can combo off Casted Messenger if they're down to 4. If you have a sacklet out, Casted Messenger, do 2 damage to them, sack it, 2 more damage, and whatnot. So a lot of times this scenario does come into play with like a Blood Artist out, a Bloodthrone Vampire, and a Messenger will end up doing 6 damage on that turn. So another great card, it kind of works like another Blood Artist, but it only makes the opponent lose 1 life, is the Diregraf Captain. Very good synergy with Gravecrawler and Ghoul. It gives all your zombies Death Touch and +1/+1. Very, very good card. I love this card back in the good old UB zombie deck in Scars of Mirrodin, and I'm kind of sad that it hasn't seen more play. Most people have played more of a green-black zombies build or a red-black zombies build and kind of ignored blue. I think if Gatecrash would have came out before Return to Ravnica, this deck would have seen a lot of play. Like I said, most of the aggro players have really gone over to Naya Blitz or RG aggro, as those decks can really get off these incredibly fast draws with the Burning Tree Emissary. So aggro players have kind of shied away from playing the zombies, but I do think zombies is still a very good deck, and I'm hoping to prove that in this episode of Playing on a Budget. So we go over now to our 4 slots. I would like to include more Duskmantle Seer. It's one of them I had to cut to make it under $100. I'll show you my budget here in a second. I guess that's something I'll be doing from now on, is actually showing you a breakdown of the budget and showing you that it does cost under $100. Then we got the Disciple of Bolas. The Disciple of Bolas is $1 a piece, so very affordable. It sacks a creature when it comes into play, your target of choice is always going to be the messenger, as you'll be able to either draw 3 or 4 cards depending on what the messenger is at. Gain 3 life, and you'll have a 2/1 body to sack later on. I guess I should go back for the prices. The Blood Artists are another significant card. They are $2.50 a piece because they are a very popular card in like the casual formats and in standard. It's still played in like decks like the Aristocrats. And the Messenger right now is a bargain at 4. The Diregraf Captains again aren't very expensive at all. And the Duskmantle Seer is $4.50. So let me explain this card again. It's a flying 4/4 for 4 mana, which is awesome in an aggro deck. And it really punishes Thragtusk decks because if they actually draw the Thragtusk, it negates that draw. It does 5 damage to them. And a lot of times you just win on that trigger plus the swing in on the following turn, on 5th turn with the Duskmantle Seer. So it won't hurt you. There's only like 3 drops. You'll be gaining life with the Blood Artist. So you have a lot of 3 drops, 2 drops, and 1 drops. So the Duskmantle Seer is not going to hurt you. Then let's go on to the control aspect of this deck. That's what I kind of like running the blue. I mean, the advantages of red is you get direct damage. The advantage to blue is you get this really, really good control package. So we have the Spell Ruptures. Spell Ruptures are cool because they're kind of like a mana leak. You usually have a 2/1, a 2/1, or even with a messenger, a 3. Or if you have a Diregraf with something else, it'll be a 3. Or if you have a Rapid Hybridization, something will be 3. So the Spell Rupture is usually is a lot like a mana leak, either a 2 or a 3 a lot of times. And that can actually be a 4 if you have a Duskmantle Seer. So then we have the Far and Away. I really, really love this card after playtesting this a lot. This is a very good card. And then we have a singleton or double Tragic Slip here and double Rapid Hybridization as the creature removal. Again, the Rapid Hybridization is really cool with the interactions it has with triggering Undying or killing your messenger, and then you get a 3/3 and a 4/3, or even if you have to kill a Gravecrawler, you can actually end up recasting the Gravecrawler next turn if you have a zombie out and getting a 3/3 for 1. So really versatile card. Yep. And that's the rundown of the deck. Let's go to the sideboard really quick. The Duress come in against any sort of control that you need to get rid of, like Supreme Verdicts or even their Mizzium Mortars. Comes in against any sort of control deck. Like I said, any non-land card out of their hand first turn is really good, or second turn, or whenever you start to cast it. The Crypt Keeper, you could actually use Cremates or any other anti-graveyard card. I'm only dedicated 2 slots to this. It comes in versus Reanimator to exile their Unburial Rites trigger, or just if they mulch an Unburial Rites, you can get rid of it right then. And then we got more control of the form of Negate, 2 more Rapid Hybridizations, and 2 more Tragic Slips. These really put you over the top versus the other aggro decks. And 2 more Victim of Nights. Victim of Nights is basically for Boros Reckoner. That's the best target for Victim of Night. Also locks it in Smiter. So it's a 2 mana destroy target non-vampire, werewolf, or zombie. And you can deal with all the werewolf, zombies, and vampires with your Tragic Slips and Rapid Hybridization. Victim of Nights is just another very cheap removal for, like I said, the 2 most problematic cards with their Loxin and Smiter and the Boros Reckoner. So that gives you an answer to it. So let me show you the breakdown here. I'll pull up this budget. So there's the deck list here. There's my little text document here. I hope you can see this. So the Duskmantle Seer at 4.5. There's actually 1 in here, so that is 4.5. And the Drowned Catacombs come to, there's 4 at 3 apiece is 12. Watergrave, there's 2 in here at 10, becomes 20. Disciple of Bolas is 1 for 1. Messenger is 4 for 4 is 16. Gravecrawler 28. Blood Artist 10. And Killing Wave 0.5. I guess I didn't explain the Killing Wave here. So it comes, and all the other commons and uncommons I've said is probably less than $10. So it does add up to under $100. Let's go to the Killing Wave. Is kind of cool. It's another thing that if you have if the game is kind of stalled out or you need a way to kill everything, you Killing Wave for however much, and then you have the option to just sack everything. So if you have like a Blood Artist, a Messenger, a Captain on board, and a Gravecrawler, and they're sitting at like 6 life, and you don't have a way to actually sack all of your stuff, you just Killing Wave, sack all of your dudes, and then make them lose like the 10 life or whatever it comes out to be with that combination that I just said. So I guess I didn't go over the land base. I'm running 4 Dimir Guildgates. These are easily, you want to replace them out with Watery Graves. I would keep like a 2 of in this deck after you get the other 2 Watery Graves, but I did have to cut Water Graves. The cuts that I did make after my final build is I did cut Duskmantle Seers and Watery Graves, as they were kind of the more pricey part of this card. Another one I did cut was a Blood Scrivener. It is currently at $4, and I just don't think, I think Sign of Blood is just a little bit better. This is definitely a card you can mess around with. It is a zombie and does fit right in with this theme. So that is a couple of the cards that I thought about including. I'm sure there are other cards like Liliana that would be a good include, but of course that is not a budget. So if you're looking to upgrade this deck, there definitely is upgrades. You could put Mutilates in the sideboard as well. They run about $4 a piece, and I had to standard that budget, so I opted for just more single target Victim of Night's Tragic Slip, Rapid Hybridization type package. Anyway, we'll play either in a standard daily, if I can find one that is coming up soon, or I will just do 3 or 4 1 versus 1 2-man queues in the like I said, the 2-man queue standards. Anyway, this is Kevin for Playing on a Budget with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.